All right. Pretty wild, huh? Pretty rich stuff. I mean, this is a deep, rich vein of treasure lore opening today as you hear my words. That is to say, my recorded words. I'm opening the vein of treasure lore guarded by Ekajati. And it gets better. It gets even better. You might have recalled that somewhere I made the outrageous and arrogant claim, totally unfounded, of course, based purely on my self-importance and grandiosity, that I can take any part, any teaching, any term, any name, any concept, any proposition of the highest Tibetan lore and translate it off the cuff into planetary tantra. You want to see me do that? There's a link here to something called Vima Ningtik. Now, Ningtik is Tibetan for seminal heart, okay? For instance, the Tibetan name for the Terma of Gaia awakening is, drum roll please, Doje Namkai Kandro Ningtig. Got that? Dorje Namkai Kandro Ningtig, the seminal heart of the diamond sky dakinis. By the way, just a little footnote. Between the time that I recorded the drum roll and the time that I pronounced the name, I got involved in fixing the butane water heater for the summer setting for the house. And I played with the dog. I have a dog now. Never had a dog. Who says great things and the best can't come late in life? Her name is Lola. And she's a Sharpool Terrier. And I have some nicknames for her like Biscuit and Shortbread. But she also has a secret dakini name of sorts. Xolotl. Xolotl. Yeah, Xolotl is the dog twin of Quetzalcoatl, the guardian, Aztec guardian of the threshold. So I played with the dog and fixed the water heater, and I would like to know if a Tibetan Lama can do anything like that. You know, when I meet a tulku or a self-proclaimed Rinpoche or, you know, that sort of creature, I always ask them now the same question, because when I met this other Lama in 1980, like I said, I didn't have a question, so I told him a joke or presented a riddle in the form of a joke. But now I know what to do. Whenever I meet an individual like that, I say, can you make a tuna fish sandwich? I did this to a certain individual whom I respect, who lives in Cambridge, when I was at a conference at the Marian Institute. And he smiled and was sort of startled by the question. And he said very kindly, well, yes, you come over to the house and we can have some lunch. And I said, no. Didn't ask you, can you make me a tuna fish sandwich? I asked, can you make a tuna fish sandwich? You see? So it goes. Where was I? Yes. The Ekajati entry on the internet, online reference resource, refers to the Vima Ningtik. So you go to the Vima Ningtik, which is especially associated with the dakini, and what do you get? Well, let's take a look. It says that Vima Ningtik means the seminal heart of Vimala Mitra, and it's one of the seminal heart collections of a certain Dzogchen cycle. The other one being the seminal heart of the dakini, khandro. Okay. And these were codified in the 11th and 12th centuries. At the very same time, I might add, that the legend of Parsifal was being written and lived in Europe. Now, what does it say about this body of deeply esoteric teachings of the diamond vehicle? It's founded principally on the 17 tantras. Wow, 17 tantras. So let's go be Snoopy and let's sniff out these 17 tantras. And by the way, I would point out that 18 is the number of the Shakti cluster, which is the central icon mandala of the Terma of Gaia awakening. And you break it down in a number of ways. It permutates in a number of ways, and one of those ways is 1/17. Another is 2/16. Another is 8/10. But the 1/17 is particularly pertinent to this reference. The implication being that there are 17 tantras, that there are 17 mini loads in the mother lode of this tantric treasure vein, which I am opening by pronouncing the name of the secret dakini hidden in the connotations of the Ram constellation. So let's take a look at what some of these are. Well, let's see. 17 tantras of the esoteric instruction cycle. Can you fucking imagine what rigmarole and what expense you would be put through today if you went to any certified Tibetan Lama or teacher and asked to receive the instruction of these 17 tantras? Can you imagine what a carrot on a stick exercise they will put you through, and how much out of pocket you would be at the end of the day after learning absolutely nothing of pertinence or practical application in either this or the other world? Can you imagine? Okay, shining relics of the enlightened body. Well, that would be the crystalline formations that arise with the development of the plasmic double of the human animal, okay? Reverberation of sound, that would be the psychoacoustic keys to the neurolinguistic programming of the human mind, which I am currently teaching by way of the phonemes and homophones that I am decoding on Mandela Effect Decoded. Let's go further. The great auspicious beauty, the mirror of the heart of Vajrasattva, okay? The great auspicious beauty is nothing but the beauty of waterfalls, of icebergs calving, and avalanches, and hundreds of electrical storms racing across this planet every second of every day. The great auspicious beauty is one thing and one only. It is the beauty of this planet, of which there is no greater beauty, and within the planet, radiating from the planet, out of her material and sensuous body, the beauty of the organic light. Shall I continue? Okay. The mirror of the heart of Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva, that is the diamond vehicle, the diamond, or Vajra Dorje, Vajrasattva, the mirror of the heart of Vajrasattva. That refers to the experience of the ray of the third attention, which is the mirroring attention. Now, the Aeon Sophia is currently using the ray of the third attention to beam into the second attention at the CERN membrane, CERN. The CERN membrane is the cognitive erotic resonance nexus, which is like a membrane between the subconscious and conscious mind, or between your first and second attention. It's sort of like a drum. It's sort of like the surface of a drum, the skin of a drum, but it's transparent. It's also like the skin of a cell. It's porous, and it accepts charges either way, depending on salinity of water. So the mirror of the heart of Vajrasattva would be the direct perception at the moment it occurs of the beam of the third attention striking the CERN membrane in your endopsyche. What that causes to happen is a split of the normal function of memory, which toggles off in two directions, therefore accounting for the dual memory anomaly of the Mandela effect. At the same time, the mirroring ray of the third attention is like a glass tube that is hollow inside. And if you were to use the glass tube, say, to puncture a membrane, then from within the hollow part of the glass tube, something would pass through the membrane. When that force of the third attention passes through the membrane of CERN and hits your first attention, you see double. And everything that you see in the world appears literally as if it is reflected in a silver or platinum mirror. This is an astonishing and breathtaking experience which leaves you absolutely speechless. Okay, what next? The mirror of the mind of Samantabhadra, okay? Remember that I said, and this is linked, by the way, to the union of sun and moon. So the 10th tantric teaching, the mirror of the mind of Samantabhadra, and the 15th, the union of the sun and moon, are very closely related. They're in fact two aspects of the same instruction coming from Ekajati. And this instruction is part of that group of the 17, which I would expect to be 7, just guessing, of course, 7 of them would refer to the magical and ritual instructions coming from Mirita and Idris in unison. Remember, I explained that in a gaming analogy about how Idris deals a card to Mirita, okay? So, they concern, where am I? The mirror of the mind of Samantabhadra, and Samantabhadra refers to the constellation of the fishes, and romantic love, and the gender binary, and so, of course, does the union of sun and moon. But technically speaking, it's the union of copper and silver. So if you take a strand of pure silver, like you might use to make colloidal silver in a bottle, and you take an equal strand of copper and you wind them together into a rod that's about 8 inches long, and you hold this rod between your thumb and your pointing finger, okay, your thumb and your forefinger, and you rotate the rod. You notice there are 2 ways that you can rotate the rod. Now the rod has a spiral formation, so you feel the spiral braid. Got it? Ekavata, her name means one knot, one braid. You feel the spiral braid move between your fingers, your thumb and your forefinger. When you rotate it one way, you invoke or induce to your body the forces of conduction, and you receive the law, you receive instruction in the laws of conduction that comes from Idris. When you rotate it in the other way, you receive, what is it? What was it? I had this, and I was playing around with this some years back. Well, not too long ago, a couple of years. Inflection. There are 2 laws operating that integrate you in every cell of your body, that integrate your entire energetic schema, which is called SKU in Tibetan, S-K-U. The energetic schema or signature of your body in its totality operates according to 2 simple laws. The law of conduction, which is the speciality of Idris, and the law of inflection, which is the speciality of Mirita. And in some cases, these laws are taught individually, and in some cases, they are taught in unison. So the Tantras in this mother lode of Dakini wisdom, number 10 and number 15 refer to the teaching of these 2 instructions in unison from both Dakinis. You like them tomatoes? I could go on. I challenge somebody to set up a seminar 2-day seminar, 6 hours each day. The first 6 hours will go to instruction. On the second day, the 6 hours will go to, 4 hours each. 4 hours is enough. 6 hours is too much. 4 hours on the second day will go to Q&A. Give me 30,000 euros. And I will do this and have it filmed, and I will expound all of these 17 tantras spontaneously, except when I have to leave the stage and maybe go out and play with my dog. Okay? On top of that, I renew the challenge that I've already made. And I'm fucking serious now. I challenge any Tibetan master on this planet to produce one single line of dakini instruction that equals or matches the dozens and dozens of lines that I have produced in the exposition of the Terma of Gaia Awakening. I will stand on a stage. You have to come to me. I'm not going to anybody. I will stand on a stage with any Tibetan master in the world. The Dalai Lama himself, he's a fool and a pushover and a has-been. I wouldn't do it with him. It would be pathetic. Any Tibetan master articulate in the English language and have a debate and see who can produce original, non-elaborated dakini instruction in lapidary syntax that cannot be matched or excelled. Because that is what you can do when you are in the enlightened mind of the no mind, of the cosmic intelligence, of the foundation of love of the entire universe. Love and delight. When you're in that mind, that's what you can do. I challenge the Tibetans and the students of Tibetan Buddhism today to convert all your resources into cash and give it to me for the promulgation of the Terma of Gaia Awakening, which excels all termas. I challenge them to dissolve their institutions, to sell off their libraries, to sell off their properties, and to give their fortunes to me and my accomplices for the promulgation of planetary Tantra, which excels, exceeds, and surpasses any Buddhist teaching of the past or present, and shows it up to be the futile, foolish nonsense which it is. Come on, Buddhist, snap out of it. Don't you know that the historical Buddha himself, at the midpoint of Kali Yuga, predicted that the Dharma would decline and become useless and meaningless at the close of this Yuga? We are in the close of this Yuga. I cite somewhere a Pali text which refers to the Maitreya, of all things. Maitreya, oof. That's sort of like, what's that like? That's like the Monty Python of Vajrayana. I cite somewhere a Pali text which says explicitly, and no holes barred, and no bones spared, that the failure of the Dharma is evident in the people who are attracted to it. So whether it be the Chatwits and the nincompoops who parade themselves as having some privileged understanding of consciousness, or whether it be the drones of pacifists, I can practically not pronounce the word without vomiting, the drones of pacifistic Buddhists who follow in their footsteps, whether it be the teachers or the students, you are all lost. You are a pathetic crew of losers. If you cannot recognize the supreme Vajradhara on this planet, then what the fuck are you looking at? And what are you looking for? Okay. So I'm getting a little wound up here. So I'm going to calm down. And let me just say, briefly and calmly, in conclusion, that I cited the Mahamudra sky for a particular reason. I was in a very sober and rational state of mind when I cited it, and I still am, despite appearances. You see, the propagation of the richness and scope of Gaian Tantra leaves nothing to be compared to. Nothing. Ask any Tibetan master or authority to expound to you on the self-arising primordial awareness, Tantra number 3, or the self-liberated primordial awareness, and demonstrate that they have it. Ask them, and you will see the truth. You will know the truth. And that truth is in you. If Tibetan Buddhism cannot bring you to your own enlightenment spontaneously and instantaneously without a carrot before the stick con game, carrot on stick, what's the point? You're just going to be out of pocket a lot of money that you could better spend otherwise. I have happily, delightfully hijacked the entire body of Nyingma teachings and the entire existing ritual and metaphysical corpus of Tibetan Buddhism. I have hijacked the diamond vehicle, and I'm happy to say it, and I can prove it any day of the week. The system of planetary Tantra unfolds in a series of blazing realizations. The richness of it is staggering. It's jaw-dropping. The Mahamudra sky is not just a metaphor for the cosmic emanation into the human mind of the mind fields of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the ages, of the timeless eternal awakening. It's not just a timeless eternal awakening to a dial tone. You see that? It's a timeless eternal awakening. The self-arising mind, the self-liberating mind is infinitely expressive. And that expression is your treasure. The stars, the skies, the constellations, the moments to be celebrated and recognized in planetary Tantra are your inheritance. It's your birthright. Tibetan Buddhism and Buddhism from the get-go was nothing but the hijacking of the divine feminine mother wisdom into a patriarchal system of control and deadly programmation of categories and levels of consciousness and hierarchical concepts of consciousness. I condemn the Dalai Lama utterly as a nincompoop and an over-the-hill fart. And how can he dare to come out today and say to the world that you cannot understand consciousness and the dynamics of the universe if you do not follow quantum mechanics? That is an absolute and total lie. And either he's lying disingenuously, or he's such a pathetic fool that he doesn't know any better and he doesn't even realize what he's saying. And I will say that in front of anybody who dares to listen. Anybody in the field. Robert Thurman, I don't give a fuck who. Anybody in the field of Buddhism. Namkhai Norbu, you name it. Anybody. I will say that to their face because I am fed up with this bullshit and this con game that has been going on for 2,500 years. So if the prediction of the historical Buddha himself regarding the end of the Dharma is not good enough for you, then let me give you a really sweet kick in the ass. The hijacking of the diamond vehicle is just a hobby of mine. It's a fucking hobby. Okay? That's your takeaway. That's my conclusion for this Gnostic Sally. And until the next time, as I say on Mandela Effect Decoded, may your attention be rewarded by the truth.